So the Detroit Tigers season has painfully come to an end. Honestly, thank fucking God. Team 2 was consistent. Maybe the Tigers could have done some things this year. They were consistent, but at least for the Tigers this year, it was an improvement over whatever the hell last year was. You know, even though they've been slow, somewhat trending in the right direction, very hard to really have any faith in their future. Considering that Chris Illich will fucking take a hands-on approach and intervene at the first sight of trouble. So while one season ends and a historic career for a Detroit sports legend ends, another Detroit team gets geared up and ready to go for their season as their preseason starts. So we're going to talk this week about the Red Wings' first week of preseason action and the Tigers' season coming to an end. So let's take a look at Detroit sports this week. A couple days late, but oh well. So, of course, starting off with the Red Wings preseason, let's be honest, like I mentioned before with the Lions and everyone else, I really do not give a fuck about preseason. It's more player testing and tuning and player evaluation. And so far, the Wings have looked pretty solid in preseason. Like, a lot of great things, positives to take out of it. You know, wins and losses don't really mean anything in preseason, but a lot of positives to take out of it too, especially that DeBrincat-Larkin pairing looks pretty good early on. So yeah, maybe Larkin can be the one that gets this wing wheel back to where it rightfully belongs in that playoff race. And Steve Eisman has already said that this year is not playoffs or bust for the Wings. They're not at that point yet, but they are getting close to it. I don't think they're, it's tough to say if they're a playoff team or not, but I 100% think they will be a contender to the closing weeks of the season. You know, hopefully, as long as the Wings can be more consistent than they were a year ago, then they're trending in the right direction. But so far, a lot of positives to like out of the Wings so far for preseason. And the Tigers season has also ended as well, with the Tigers having 2 series wins against Kansas City and Cleveland, 2 division rivals, with Kansas City being all-out sweep, and then claiming 2 of 3 games against the Guardians to end the season. Honestly, let's be honest, both series really meant fucking nothing because Tigers, Kansas City, and Cleveland, all 3 were eliminated about a week or 2 ago from the Minnesota Twins winning the AL Central. So, yeah. But yeah, just, you know, both series against Kansas City and Cleveland meant nothing. It was more just bragging rights on the line, but ending the season on a positive note. And of course, Miguel Cabrera ended this season on a pretty high note. So yeah, good way for, at least the Tigers won Miguel Cabrera's final game. So at least that's a good thing. At least the Tigers end the season on a positive note, but it is truly the end of an era for 24 Miggy. Very unfortunate. Honestly, I think it's kind of sad the Tigers couldn't get Miggy a ring. Like, Miggy deserved to win a ring with Detroit. It just never happened. They had 2 shots with it. They just never been able to execute it. But yeah. But the Tigers, they end their season 78-84. I mean, the Tigers' pitching core is probably the only real positive in the farm system so far. The hitting core, it's pretty hit or miss with some prospects. Like Spencer Torkelson really took a big step forward this year. Riley Green, well, he had issues staying healthy this year. Hopefully, if Riley Green can stay healthy, then maybe him and Torkelson can help take the next step forward for this team. And even, well, the Tigers, they didn't improve, though, from last year, because last year they only won 66 games. And this year, they end the season 78-84. 3 games below 500. So they went from being, and they didn't finish last in the division. They finished 3rd in the division. They finished ahead of Kansas City and Chicago, with the White Sox. The only teams they finished behind were Cleveland and Minnesota. But yeah, it's still a pretty disappointing season, but it's really hard to say what the Tigers are trying to be. Because I just feel like the Tigers are still searching for identity. I mean, with the Pistons, Red Wings, and Lions, we can get a good idea what their team identity is. Well, the Pistons, we're not sure what that identity is yet with Monty Williams, but we'll get a good idea later in the season. We're starting to see it with the Wings, with them pretty much effectively getting European players, mainly Swedes. and Michigan-born players as the core for the team, with a few Canadians mixed in there. And, of course, a German and more outsider, too. And the Lions' identity, well, we already know what that identity is, and we do not need to go in further detail on it. But the Tigers, I don't know what their identity is. It's really tough to say. And in terms of the Tigers' future, I just don't know if this team is really going forwards or backwards, or if they're just stuck in a tailspin of mediocrity. Like, I mean, yeah, 12-win improvement from last year is good, but considering that it's now been a decade since the Tigers have not had made the playoffs, have last made the playoffs, still not good enough. Just, really tough to say because of how much Chris Ilitch takes a hands-on approach with the Tigers. Like, I think if the Tigers really wanted to go anywhere, I mean, it's really hard to trust the Tigers right now because of Chris Ilitch's hands-on approach. Like, if Chris Ilitch took a hands-off approach and let the fucking baseball people do their fucking jobs, then maybe I would have more confidence in the Tigers' future. I mean, with the Red Wings, even though, yeah, Ilitch owns the Red Wings too, but at least with the Red Wings, I have more confidence and I have a lot more. I feel a lot more confident trusting the Wings' future because Ilitch takes a hands-off approach with the Wings, and the Wings have really trended in the right direction the last couple of years with Steve Eisman taking over and bringing in Derek along too. And of course, we're going to see how this trade for Alex DeBrincat works once we get to the regular season. If DeBrincat can help the Wings take that next step forward. I mean, a lot of this offseason was built on getting Alex DeBrincat here and building around his strengths and weaknesses. So we'll see if it pays off. But yeah, I mean, if the Tigers really want to go anywhere, then Chris Ilitch, he needs to do what he does with the Red Wings and keep his fucking hands away from the fucking day-to-day operations and let his fucking baseball people that he hired in do their fucking jobs and see if this works. Now, I know with the Wings, though, it hasn't resulted in any playoffs or championships yet with the hands-off approach, but at least the Wings are having some sort of fucking stability with the franchise. While the Tigers, there really isn't much stability either. I mean, look at the Lions as well, too. Sheila Ford is probably the first Ford in the family to take a hands-off approach to the Lions and has trust Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes to do their fucking jobs. And look how much progress the Lions have made within the last 2.5, 3 years. While it hasn't gone the Lions any championships or playoffs, it has gone the Lions a hell of a lot more stability. It has made the Lions effectively the #1 sports team in Detroit, in my opinion. Like, in terms of the 4 Detroit sports teams, my rankings before have remained pretty much the same. Lions #1, Red Wings #2, Pistons #3, and then Tigers at the bottom. Very hard to trust the Tigers and have any confidence in their future because I feel like this, no matter what they do, Chris Ilitch is going to interfere at the first fucking sight of trouble. But yeah, very tough to say. But yeah, will Chris Ilitch ever fucking take a hands-off approach and keep his grubby little fucking hands away from day-to-day operation of the Tigers? Maybe someday when he fucking has an epiphany on the toilet. But will it happen? I highly doubt it. But yeah, that wraps it up here. At least Red Wings season starts, and we got Pistons season 2. And the Lions are looking really good right now, especially knocking off the Packers last Thursday. Yeah, sorry about that if I'm looking away because my cat just walked into the room. I think that's a clear sign. I think I should just wrap it up here because I think the kitty wants attention. Hey, Harley. You want to come up? No? Okay, I tried. Alright, anyway, though, I better go. But yeah, anyway, at least the Lions play Sunday. Hopefully they get this win against Carolina. I'm out.